Wakey cupcakes!
Oh,
It's live stream time!
Already? Oh my
Already.
gosh.
A long day.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Nick.
Absolutely.
How's everybody doing?
We are live. I would like to ask somebody out there, maybe Jeremy or whatever, in the comments, how's the audio? Because we are limited on mics and we're using one mic for all three of us.
Yeah.
So testing
1, 2,
7.
7.
5.
Fine. Okay. Thank you, William. Much appreciated. So we're here live in Orlando. This is the first day of the International Sign Expo, and we ran into that guy over there, and somehow he got in the room. I'm not quite sure, but I'm glad he was
sleeping,
here.
man,
Yeah, I'm glad he was here.
He picks locks as a hobby.
For those of you that don't know who this guy is, this is Nick, and he has a YouTube channel called Build Dad Build. Right down at the bottom of the screen there, you'll see the link to his YouTube channel as well as his website and his Etsy store. He sells some cool stuff in his Etsy store. And he's joining us tonight as a co-host. Thanks for being here, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So tonight we're just going to be taking a look at some of the video that we captured for the videos that we'll be doing in the future. And we're going to sort of like, talk amongst ourselves about what we thought of it and basically answer any questions you might have about the show. We're not going to do a typical Q&A tonight. So if you've got any problems with your laser or questions on a laser, tonight wouldn't be the night for it. So Tonight we're just going to run through some of the videos where we walked around and took some scenes for you all to see what the International Sign Show looks like and some of the laser companies. Tomorrow night on the live stream, we're going to be doing actual interviews. So tomorrow night we will be doing interviews with what, a dozen?
Yeah, we have several laser companies and more lined up for interviews. So we'll get those done tomorrow and then play, not the whole things, at least some excerpts of those interviews, and then we'll get the whole interviews up later.
Yeah, and then also tomorrow we'll be making a couple of announcements for these companies too that the general public doesn't know about yet. So you guys are going to be the first people to see those announcements. We're going to be the first. So we're going to probably start right now with a video that I should have taken from much further away, but this morning we jumped on the bus and we had the bus all to ourselves. We got the whole bus to ourselves. Well, here we are.
You're just the first pickup. Yeah.
We're heading off to the Sign Expo. There's our bus driver down there. The bus driver wanted to have a conversation. No, you can't see him with us. Well, I was
when he turned
filming
around, it didn't look like anybody was driving.
That's kind of what it felt like sitting there.
Literally on the bus by ourselves.
Yeah. It was actually pretty funny because I started the video and I was going to actually talk to Patrick, and then the bus driver thought I was talking to him.
He answered.
So he kept answering me. So it was actually kind of funny. We were going to do an intro from the actual convention center, but we never did do that. So we'll just play some videos and talk about our experience there. So this was actually very cool.
Where is it? I didn't see
that. Was right across from the Eon, straight up from the Eon booth.
Huh.
And that is like a window screen video board, but you can't see it from the other side.
Around to the back, you don't see any of the circuit board.
Yep. All the LEDs are on one side facing in one direction. When you went around the back of it, it looked like it was just a window shade.
I've heard that they're going to they want to implement that in like retail stores.
Yeah.
So you can show their products and whatnot, but you still have to.
Yeah, the whole back was coated in black, so it just blended in. Just front with the. And that was
I was surprised at all of the laser manufacturers that were there at the
Yeah.
show. We probably saw um, at least 15 or more laser manufacturers there. And
Yep.
we were expecting some of them. We were invited by one, by Eon. And next week, I'll have a video out. Patrick probably will too, on Eon Laser. Here you can see this is another company, LTT, which I think it's Laser Tools and Technology or something like that. But what you're going to see tonight is not going to be any diode lasers. There was one company there that had diode, fiber, and CO2.
CO2 and UV. Yep.
Or CO2, UV, and diode, yeah. And we didn't get a chance to film that particular booth. But let me switch to the next one.
Who
Here.
was that?
That was blue. It was blue.
What was it?
Blue something.
Blue something.
Yeah,
Can't remember the exact name.
but
Blue Times.
I don't remember. But the place was really overwhelming. I mean, there was so many exhibitors there. But what I did notice was that these are all high-end commercial machines.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're in the market, if you're one of those people that are looking for, you know, a high-end commercial laser, then you're definitely going to want to see our interviews tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll be interviewing all of these companies. And what you're seeing now is pretty much just a walk around of the show.
Yeah. Some of the stuff we walked around and saw was huge CNC machines.
Oh,
you know, that
yeah,
are bigger
Lord.
than a sheet of plywood.
Man, those
Some of them were like
Those 4
Monsters.
sheets of plywood.
Yeah.
even just the printers.
Yeah,
They're
printers.
so enormous. I'm like,
yeah,
are
They're
you
like
kidding me?
20 feet long printers.
yeah. I think probably the biggest one I saw was probably about 30 to 35 feet.
Yeah, that was
The Canon.
They have one stretching. Well, it wasn't Canon, but they have one that was like, you could tell that the reason their booth was where it was because it stretched the whole length of the booth.
Yeah.
Like it was on a corner.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like, this is ridiculous.
HB had really good.
Yes, yeah. And Canon did too. HB, Canon. There was a couple of big ones there, but it wasn't just you know, printers and lasers. It was everything you can think of to make signs.
For signage, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it in a little while in the video. We even got a few suppliers, some video of suppliers that we're going to be interviewing as well, and we're going to show you some of the things. Like there's one guy that does the live edge wood. Did you see that one? Nick?
Live edge walnut.
Yeah, live edge walnut. I mean, it was.
Oh no, I did see him. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, because he had just like the blanks.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
he's diagonal from.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And he had some really nice stuff. And I talked to him for a few minutes. And apparently, they put it through the drum sander and then they hand sand it after it goes through the drum sander. So if you felt that, actually, I have a piece of it here. Let's see how much time is left on this. Okay.
Yeah, and then he'll leave some of them live edge on, let's say, top and bottom. Then others, they'll cut it so it's flat across the bottom, so you can set it in a display stand. It'll have a nice little display piece. Which,
Yeah.
That's what Richard does.
So this is the. Actually, I'll wait for this video to stop, and then I'll show this one to you.
What I think is bigger than I've ever thought in the sign industry, though, is car wrapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, I did not realize it was that was as big of a deal as it is.
Especially like with the Corvette.
They actually had car wrapping competitions to see which team could do it the fastest and the best. They were judged.
So this is the
That's what they were.
the live edge, and you see it's got a stand edge, so you can stand it up all by itself, or you can put it on a stand or whatever. One side is nice and flat and smooth, and these are all hand sanded blanks, and he had them in all different styles. Really feel that, guys.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's a nice looking piece of walnut, just in general.
Yeah, Nick knows a little bit about wood.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, that's It's nice. And the thing is, like a lot of times, like people don't want the lighter wood, but I always think that like gives it a good contrast.
That's what gives
especially
it.
like this
Mhm.
sign wise.
Yeah.
Like if you're engraving something on that, you've got kind of
Yeah,
a
that
light
makes
on
it
the top and
unique.
bottom.
That makes it unique. And when we do our interviews, we'll put links in the description, not affiliate links or anything, but just links to these companies that we've interviewed and the ones that have products for sale that you'd probably be interested in.
Let's see. We talked to the other company that had the. It's not the real wood. It's faux wood, but more like a foam of different
Yeah.
densities.
Yeah.
It was a really
Is it
neat
the same
product.
guys that did the wall with the brick?
No, that was just printed plastic.
Crazy. Though,
It
right?
was.
Like,
That was incredible.
Like they had like a whole thing that looked like brick.
We
And
got
it was-
we got like stuck there because I remember Patrick. I was
Oh,
telling
yeah.
him I want to do this in my shop, and then you could change the graphic whenever you want. That was pretty incredible.
There's a 3D printer there, and they were telling us about their filament. It's basically a modified version of ASA, and the modifiers make it more UV and temperature stable, so it's appropriate for use outdoors.
I thought it was really interesting, just the big flatbed 3D printers. Because I'm used to the tall ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was over and I was looking at it. I was like, 3D printer. And then I was kind of looking at it, and I'm like, wait a second, like it's not like everything you see, every 3D printer except for like bamboo or whatever.
Yeah, they're not
has
open
the
gantry.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, well, these are like kind of sign specific, right? They make 3-inch ladders.
Yeah.
They're more concerned with depth and space.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the polycarbonate that Patrick was just talking about right there. So they're gonna
So this is the stuff that they made the bricks out of.
Yep.
this is laser safe polycarbonate.
So
You can make anything out of it.
what do you
Precision
like?
board.
So you can CO2 laser this,
Yeah.
or do you have to have
No,
Can
it's laser safe for any laser. So if you wanted to make like a name sign and wanted it to look up to 24 inches thick.
Why would you need it 24 inches thick? I'm gonna make up with them.
Well, they had some awesome larger pieces that were CNC.
Yeah,
made with
For CNC, yeah.
Released and then painted.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah.
Quickly looking.
And that's sort of like a trend now in sign making when they put letters up over a business name, is they're using the polycarb now.
Yeah, because it's light.
Yeah, they're cutting it on a bandsaw and then
Yeah. I
And
mean,
then
this is
finishing
this is
yeah,
I mean, it's not.
And then they have
yeah, it has no weight at all.
what density is that?
Oh, sorry.
4. That's 4% density.
Yeah.
It goes all the way to 70.
Yeah,
I think
they
it's
had
70 was
quite
the
a few
max.
of them.
And it was solid.
But that's something we talked to them about that
This
too.
is pretty solid, man.
They
Four?
can cut
Yeah.
that and custom size it. Yeah, some of them felt like a brick, but they
Yeah.
had no weight. That one you can squeeze and put a dent in it.
Yeah, I did just flip it. But
Yep.
I'm like, this is not. It's not foam, I mean, it's not smushy.
Yeah. No, it's not. But they have that in all different densities. You can get it to, like where you can hit it with a hammer, but it's still the same sort of weight,
Right.
There
Oh
you
wow!
go.
So you just have all sorts of different.
And they'll cut it to whatever thickness that you want.
All right. So there's 4 and 6. Here's an 18.
Oh wow!
See the difference?
Yeah, absolutely. That's you can see the difference.
Yeah.
You can see
Oh, well,
like how
Some of them
porous it
aren't.
is.
Some of them aren't sanded.
Oh really?
Yeah, he
okay,
said some of them weren't finished. See how that's got the routed edge and all?
Yeah.
You could not sand it.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is like if you look at them like side by side, you can see the porous. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Wow.
So you'd want probably somewhere in the medium density for a laser.
So I asked him about if they would customize those, and like I said, we'll put links when we do the actual interviews. We'll put links to their websites, and he said they could customize it down to an 1/8 inch. Is that what he said? I think he said down to an eighth inch, which would cut like butter even with a diode laser.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, even with a 5-watt diode laser.
Yeah, so we might be able to get all of some more samples to test and some custom sizes, and maybe they can come up with something that would be specific to
Yeah.
our viewers and our lasers.
Well, I was thinking that I can take the samples home and rip them on the bandsaw.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just cut them down.
Yeah, rip a few pieces off. I'd be able to get like 4 pieces out of that one and do some material testing on it. This, by the way, that's on the screen now, well, it just passed. That was Emily's project from her daughter's party. That big tail that you saw when we did.
We're just doing B-roll right now.
About a week or 2 ago. Okay. And here is the Eon booth. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those black lasers are their.
And we will have some exclusive material for you on the new Red Line edition that's coming out that we're going to post up tomorrow. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and then we'll put more in-depth videos up next week after we get home. But we'll give you most of the salient information anyway about the new line of commercial lasers that they're coming out.
And it's a lot of information. They've changed a lot about
Yeah.
those machines. It's
Yes.
not one or two things.
No.
You know.
No,
I was expecting like we slapped a paint
Yeah.
job on this, you know, and I'm like every time they say something, I'm like, it does that too.
yep.
It's a lot.
Well, the last thing that they said that we're not going to bring up today, because it's sort of a secret, the machine that's coming out this summer,
Right.
is going to absolutely blow your mind. You're going to want to see that video. And so did this international truck, by the way. I loved it.
Yeah. The fundamental
That is pretty
changes to the laser.
Decisive. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a whole new type of laser.
May not be game changing, but it's definitely different.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, it's
I think some of the stuff that they're doing is game changing.
Yeah,
The
I-
speeds they're getting up to
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I just remember at school, the D1 Pro or something. They said it would do so many millimeters per minute.
Mhm.
Can't remember what it was. It was something stupid like 5,000 millimeters.
Well, originally it was 6. Yeah.
Was it 6?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it'll do that, but it doesn't actually do it. You know what I mean? Like you have to. You're not. It will move that.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Right.
Because if you look at the preview window in Lightburn, and you look at the total move distance, and you do a little math on it, it's not 6,000 because the
Because
acceleration
so much.
problem. There's the acceleration problem on both sides.
Right.
Mhm.
So that you may do 6,000 across the middle where it's engraving, but the turnaround and the acceleration, the deceleration, the acceleration, you're really looking at a total job time of maybe 4,100
Right.
millimeters
Just
per
for the
minute.
average across the
The
distance.
average, yeah, when you average it all out.
Yeah, but
So-
I mean, it was like you get that thing going like that, shakes all over the place. It's not like
Yeah.
like I said, it will do it.
Yeah.
Will you? Can you do anything with that? No.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not accurate. It's not. And
Yeah.
So I was just like when they were cranking stuff out, I was like, wow.
And now the new innovations for this year, and some of these were around last year, but there are some new things like no more ball bearings, you know. So it's riding on the linear rails with no ball bearings. They have Kevlar belts, you know, on some of
Kevlar
these.
belts. I didn't like.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like every time,
Like
I thought I
instant.
got downloaded on the information, like somebody would say something like that. I'm like, wait, what? You don't get that, you know?
Yeah.
Like the main
Wow.
drive belt of the laser head is like inch thick Kevlar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zooming that thing.
Yeah, and the speeds we saw today up to let's not talk millimeters per minute. Let's not talk millimeters per second. We saw up to 175 inches per minute
Wow.
today.
I didn't even like. I haven't even converted it to inches yet. But
Well, that's 60 times, you
God,
know,
it's so
what
crazy.
we can imagine in our brains,
Right,
you know.
right. And it was like it was like they were engraving multiple pieces at once. And it was looked like it wasn't like there. It wasn't just. It's
Yeah.
not just show. It's not just for show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
there weren't
remember
exactly-
the
there
leather
weren't-
patches?
Yeah,
There was like 12 of them.
yeah.
And it was just.
I know.
Yeah, they didn't
It's
have
just,
jagged edges. The offsets, you know.
There was no scanning offset.
Yeah, it just went ran.
Now, the one thing that I will say is, with the exception of 1, 2, or 3 companies,
Mhm.
you're not going to be able to use Lightburn with a commercial machine.
right.
You know, so if you're in the market for, if you have a business, let's say, and it needs to be right every time, the machine needs to work every time you start it up, you know, and you have to do it at high speed and multiple objects, you're going to want a high-end commercial machine like the ones that we saw today. But most of them are not going to be compatible with Lightburn. They're going to have their own proprietary software, or some of them are even open source software, but just not compatible with Lightburn yet. So tomorrow, we're all going to have dinner with Jason from Lightburn, and we're going to bring up some of these topics, as well as some of the questions that you've been asking me,
Mm.
you know, in your emails and your messages and things like that, about adding features to Lightburn. And they don't just add it because somebody asked them for it. They actually have a place on their website where you can go and make a suggestion. And then if a lot of people thumbs up that suggestion, it gets moved up to the top of the list. And that's how they put new features into Lightburn. So
Right, and they add it because it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like if there's a one-off thing that you think it should do, maybe not happening.
Right.
But if everybody's like, wait a second, like I want to be able to edit notes,
Yeah.
then that's
Or-
be something
Just
new.
gotta submit a feature request.
or if
Right.
it's something that doesn't take more than a line or two of code,
Well, true.
they'll put it
Something
in
easy.
right away. Yeah. But tomorrow I'm going to be giving a bunch of feature requests to Jason at dinner. And also, he is committed today, so he will be on the channel for a full interview, probably in the next couple weeks or so.
That's cool.
And yeah, so I think what we're going to do, I don't know if we'll do a live or we'll do an interview. If we do the live, you guys will get to ask the questions. Maybe I should do the live. I don't know yet. I'll discuss that with him tomorrow, whatever he wants to do.
Do one where you do sit down with them and do another one where he asks questions. I
Yeah.
mean, if he'll give you his time.
Yeah.
And that guy.
He's good. I even have a Lightburn notepad over there.
Well,
I saw that.
He gets out there and talks to the manufacturers to try to make his software work with more machines.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Oh, I'm
what he's done.
slacking on the videos here.
Well, that makes sense. That's Lasermatic. I just did the review on
There
that.
it
And
is.
it's Leo.
Blue Times. That's it.
Leo went to everybody and said, "What are your pain points?" And
Right. Exactly. And you're in big trouble because of that video.
Why?
The control board.
I think they might even hit on you by me.
Lightburn compatible?
Yeah, that company right there,
It's easy
the
to
Blue
get to.
Times, had the only diode laser engraver. At that point, when Rich filmed this, they did not have it assembled yet.
Yeah, she was on the
Okay.
floor.
She was on the floor putting it together.
Yeah, she was sitting on the floor assembling it.
Yep. Next time we came around, it was sitting on the table
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I watched your video in
Mhm.
shock with my mouth
Why?
literally hanging open.
There is the live edge walnut.
Yes.
Because I sang praises to it.
Yeah. the way you said it. you know.
Hey, listen. Thing is, I've told like so many people have told me about that.
Yeah.
That I, because I say in the beginning of that video, I just don't want to do any more diode laser reviews. I feel like I'm saying the same thing as Bruno.
Yeah.
If you're buying a diode laser that's $300 to $500, they're all the same.
Yeah.
They just are.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
And so I had already made up my mind. I was not doing that. Leo had contacted me and then kind of ghosted. Like he got busy.
Uh-huh.
And so I told him I wanted one, and then I didn't hear anything from him for several months.
Right.
And I was like, basically, I'm just done
I
with
had
that.
you on the list. I don't know why you didn't hear anything from me.
But so I think they waited because like the MK2 wasn't finished yet or something, or there was something that they were waiting for.
Okay.
Anyway, so then he contacted me, and once he contacted me back, it was like I had the unit in a couple days. But like I said, like that is
The most impressive thing about that is when you actually take it out of the box
Mhm.
and you set it down for the first time and you say, "Oh my gosh, there's never been anything like this before."
right.
Right away, X Tool, as soon as I did the launch on the Lasermatic in January, if you remember,
Mhm.
and right away X Tool went to work on the S1, and they put it together so quickly that there was no thought putting behind it. So I don't know about you, but I took that out of the box. I set it down. I went over into Lightburn and I said, "No, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
This is just not going to. You can't use the whole workbed. You have to customize the workbed. You have to customize the dimensions. You can't get into the machine settings. You can't get into the advanced features.
Yeah.
But what good is putting something like that out on the market? Now they're going to do the same thing they did last time when they first came out with the D1. This was when you were build that build.
Right.
You were burning stuff.
Right. I was like, I'm still bidding.
Yeah. He was burning wood
Right.
with a torch, a big torch.
Yes. Yeah.
But they came out with the D1, and it was not Lightburn compatible. It was
Laserbox was their,
proprietary software.
and that was like Laserbox was
Laserbox
remedial at best.
Basic.
Yes. Oh, they're like, yeah, you got to use this, and that is going forward because I'm sure you get just as many like random. We build a laser. Can you review it?
Yeah.
Emails designed.
Yeah. Every day.
And so like one of the first things I started asking is like, is it Lightburn? Because if it's not, then that's an immediate no.
Yeah, and people talk about using the way they've developed the XCS, and I'll give them props for that. It's come a long way.
Oh yeah.
From
Oh,
basic,
absolutely.
But
all
still
they're doing is they're just chasing Lightburn.
Well,
what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no. What they're doing is they're trying to bring people into their ecosystem. They want it to be like
100%.
Glowforge without you knowing that it's like Glowforge, except you don't need an internet connection. But they want you to buy the laser from them. They want you to buy the materials from them. They want you to buy everything only from them. And that's one of the things that.
And we see how well
That's
it's working
the
for
biggest
Glowforge
thing.
right now.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So that's the biggest thing that turns me off about X2 is their market.
Well, and especially the fact that they've just been pumping out new machines over and over and over. It's like, we're in the position where
Some B-roll video.
we get the machine for free because we get to review it for them, and so we get to play with all the new stuff. But what you don't think about is the guy that bought the D1, and then 6 months later they come out with the D1 Pro, and they stop support on the D1.
Right.
It's like, this is a guy who's just doing hobby stuff in his garage.
Yeah.
And now has no support on his laser that he
Right.
bought. That to him is expensive. Like,
Well, you got to upgrade.
Yeah. And it's like, well, but how many people can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially every 6 months.
and everything-
That's unreasonable.
And everything is, upgrades. So that's
Not
the
in-
crazy thing about it.
Not an all-in-one package.
Why not take what you've got and do upgrades to it?
Exactly.
And make sure that you have. What the problem they have is that they put out products without having them tested by people like us that use them.
Right.
Well,
that's why I say that Lasermatic, like when I was like, just out of the box, I even put well, actually, I didn't even include all the video that I took. I didn't have any of my camera. I wasn't going to do an unboxing video.
Right.
I've done too many of those, so I just
You enjoy doing those unboxings. I enjoy watching.
I mean, I don't mind, but it's like some of that stuff, like especially like diode laser after diode laser, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It just gets a little old.
Yeah.
But when I was taking the Lasermatic out, I was like, and this is just like one of those things that like I go to do the thing that you do with every other laser, and it's like, oh, it's already done for me.
Yeah.
It's like these nice little things, like just the whole unboxing of it was so nice.
Yeah.
I was like, and I knew, and the thing is, like, everybody has been telling me how good this machine is.
Right.
So I really was like, I was a little worried that I was going to get it and be like, well, it's all right, because everybody told me it's so good, and I was just like, I've never been so delighted with like setting something up.
Yeah.
I was like,
or not setting something up.
yeah. Well, yeah. I'm like, oh, like this is already done. Like, and who wouldn't have thought of just running the air assist line on the gantry?
Yeah. But the thing, it's not just the way it looks. So it wasn't only X-Tool that ran out into R&D when the Lasermatic came out. It was lots of companies.
Oh, I think you're going to see a lot more like enclosures now.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
they're all going to be copying this design because this is probably the most popular design ever.
Right.
And you got the K8. Yeah, you got a whole bunch of them that came out. But what's funny is Dave over at the Clock Shack got the K8 and put it on his tabletop, and he was about to use it, and the cat jumped down, and landed on it and cracked the acrylic.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's funny. He sent me, so one of the big things about the Lasermatic that everybody keeps sending me is I didn't take the front support out because I didn't realize it was support. I was like,
neither did I, because I didn't read the assembly manual.
I did, and I must have just like kind of glazed over that because I was like, this is the weirdest design idea. Like, I don't understand why there's this bar right here.
Yeah.
Everybody kept sending me that, but when Dave sent me like a picture of it out, his cat's sitting on top of the Lasermatic, and it's not cracked.
Yeah.
When we unboxed stars on the live stream, I took my support bar out, and you left yours.
I left mine in. Yeah. Even Make a Break Shop just got one too, and he did a video a couple of days on it, and throughout the entire video, the shipping bar was in there. I mean, he rushed through the video. He doesn't really use the lasers, so his videos are just purely review videos. But he rushed through it as quickly as he could, and he didn't realize that bar was a shipping package either. So but the thing that I noticed, I've got a few of them now, the copies, and the thing that I noticed, like when I first set up the X-Tool, I thought I was going to break that. I lifted it by one corner, and only one corner came up, and it kind of bent, and then it popped out and it flopped around, and I was like, oh my God, I thought it was going to crack right then and there.
Right.
All of these other acrylics don't even come close to the acrylic that's on the Lasermatic. Plus, it has 360 degree.
That is awesome. And I can't remember the company that sent me. I think I bought it from them. It was an all orange enclosure, like acrylic orange. And it was 3D printed parts, and like I put it together, and I'm like, I could just put my finger on it and wobble it.
Yeah.
And it was like it was $4 or something. So I contacted the guy, and I'm like, dude, like this is. And he's like, how about I just send you the 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, whatever it is. I think I had the 1/8 inch, and it was 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll send you the 1/4 inch for free.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, because if somebody's going to buy this,
they're going to get the 1/8 inch.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, and it was, and I was just like, this is it looks great. But it's nothing. There's nothing to it.
Why even offer it? Why even offer?
Right.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it was the difference between
making you happy.
$400 and $600.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And I was just like, no. And I blamed that guy on YouTube. I was like, no, man. Like this is your response to this. Like, why do you offer it then? Like, are you kidding?
Well, the important thing is that you tell the truth. So you gotta tell the truth in these review videos. And I have a lot of people that tell me, well, I saw your review on the Acer and I had so many problems with mine. And yeah, well, I didn't have a single problem with mine.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, they came out with it. It worked. Everybody was happy with it. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, something goes wrong and there's nobody to answer your emails.
Right.
So yeah, I did wind up having a problem 90 days down the road. They
Right.
sent me the 36 watt that blew the control board when I plugged it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you
So-
have smoke?
Yeah.
No, nice.
Oh yeah. That electronic,
Even better.
yeah, that electric smell and
Oh
the
yeah.
and the gray smoke coming out of it. I was like, what the hell?
I think it's weird that my wife doesn't know that smell. Like I feel like I've known that smell all my life. Like
Yeah.
you just like it's a very distinct smell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this is so not laser related at all, but in our old house, she said something about like that I can't remember. She said something about, or she said it smelled funny in the living room, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
And I walk in there, I'm like, that's electrical.
Yeah.
Like immediately. And I remember I pulled the door down to the attic and there was a junction box up there that was just like on fire, like just flaming. And I'm like,
Oh, geez.
how did you not know that? And she just doesn't know that smell. And I was, okay.
Yep.
Well, you know what happened to me just the other day? Scared the hell out of me. This is a $1,500 phone.
Mm.
And I plugged it into the USB to charge it, and it started smoking from there. And I yanked it out really quick. I was
Right.
like, what the hell just happened? And then I realized that the plug was hot, and I just changed the cable and I plugged it in again. Thankfully, it was the
It's all
USB
good.
cable that was smoking.
I
Oh
had
my
a
God, that gave me a scare.
I had
Pretty scary.
an iPhone, like old iPhone, and we were traveling, and I noticed it wasn't charging, and so I went to the Apple store, thinking I don't know what it is, and the guy literally took my phone and he looked in the charging port and he like pulled out a little knife and went and like pulled out like a little bit of pocket lint.
Yeah.
And I got pocket lint in there, and it was blocking it from charging. I'm like, I thought I was gonna have to buy a new phone.
I once had a
Amazing.
Samsung Note and went to get on a plane, and they wouldn't let me on the plane because I had a Samsung Note. You guys remember that?
Because it's
Do you remember the Notes that caught fire and then?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like the
Yeah.
lithium battery inside of it was too big or something.
No, that was when they catch it on fire. Mine never caught on fire.
So-
I returned it for the recall.
We forgot about those people over there. we're,
Yeah.
we're having our own private
Yeah.
conversation
I'm
here.
sorry. I was like,
But
there's people over there,
The,
Rich.
the
Yeah,
comments
we forgot
on the
about-
screen are
There's
so
100
small
people over there.
that I've been trying to read them, and they're very hard to read.
Yeah, tonight we can't. Tonight and tomorrow night, streaming from here, we're using a laptop that has like a 2048 resolution. So,
It's all right. It's run and gun, baby.
yeah, we can't really see the comments, but I think Jeremy's in there.
See, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's in there from 3DHP. Jeremy's in there.
Hey, Jerry. What's up, brother?
Did you see AP Laser? Ron is saying, no.
AP Laser's not here.
No.
Yeah, I didn't see them.
They have been here in the past. I think they're going to be here next year. But they
In Vegas.
yeah. Well, who's not going to Vegas?
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't care if you invite me. I'm coming to Vegas.
yeah. I didn't see AP, and I didn't see the other one from Canada. The one that's got the open bottom on it. Jeez, what the heck was the name of that company? The Canadian laser company. You have one of theirs, don't you?
No, I have an AP.
Oh, you have AP.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's two companies. They're from Canada too.
So AP, their frames are built in Canada. So
Yeah.
right across, they're
Yeah.
in Michigan. So right across.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
border.
yeah. Well, there's another company that's exclusively. Who the heck is it? I can't remember the name, but I'm surprised they weren't here. Can't remember the name of the company. But we found some companies we've never heard of before,
Yeah.
and we found some long time big shots too, like GCC and Thunder was
Thunder
was here.
Mhm.
and Eon was there, and some of the big boys with the big
Yep.
expensive machinery.
Epilog, Trotec,
Epilog,
Kern.
yeah, Kern. Mhm.
let's see.
Kern, man, they got some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to sell a kidney, but
Let's see. Full Spectrum was here.
Full
or
Spectrum.
Vitek.
What was
Yes,
that? What was that
Vitek.
last? What was that last company that we went to? With the Chinese guy, we arranged the interview for tomorrow. We were sitting there.
GCC.
Was that GCC?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I believe GCC has the fastest. That's the one that has the Kevlar belt. GCC is like real high quality. They're the ones that have the 175 inches per minute.
But GCC is actually like their higher end machines are made in Taiwan. Not China.
Yeah.
Taiwan.
The funny thing is, I went over to Vitek. So I just go talk to people today, and then I'll whip out the camera and do like the interview stuff, like you guys are doing, tomorrow. So, but I don't really tell them who I am. I just walk up and kind of BS with them, and went over to Vitek, and they have the machines that'll cut an inch steel.
Yeah. Right.
So I was asking her about it, and she's just like, well, they start at 120.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
120 watt.
No, 120,000.
Yeah, 120 watt.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't.
Is that watts or dollars?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, and I think she thought I was just going to walk away. And I kept pressing her, and she just kind of kept like bringing up the price. And I was like, I really want to come over. And like, it's a really cool setup.
But you're wearing a t-shirt and jeans, so and really ugly sneakers. So
hey, you know what? My feet.
And you're bald. And you have a goatee. Everything is against you there. And she's like, "Can I see the screenshot of your bank account?"
I know. And I was
You're
just
wasting
like,
my time.
I really want to come over. Like, I really want to talk about the stuff you have. And I'm like, you're not helping.
Yeah.
You're not helping at all.
I don't think I'll come back tomorrow.
I don't think I met anybody today that did that to us. So, and I did take my badge off, by the way. So they didn't know who I was.
I'm very surprised at I'm very impressed at salespeople that have the ability to look at your name tag fast enough to get your name and where you're from. Because people will be like, "Oh yeah, Nick, so you're from, so you're from here, you're from Florida," and I'm like, "No, I'm from Houston. I'm here with Eon, but I'm just like, I can't. I'm lucky if I get a couple letters out of there."
Yeah.
Well, I took my name tag off for most of it, because I didn't want them to see that Eon was sponsoring us to be here.
Right.
And even though it's not going to. I'm really appreciative that they did, but that's not going to earn them any brownie points.
Right.
They're new. Sit back a little bit. Their new Red Line series is what's going to earn them the brownie points.
You know what? It's fucking earning brownie points.
They earned it.
It is. Yeah. Like I said, I expected one or two new things. A lot of new
when you guys see the video tomorrow. When you guys see the video that we're going to show you tomorrow, it's going to blow you away. Like if you're into doing commercial stuff, it's just going to blow you away. They've taken what other people have done in the last year and gone 2 steps above it.
Right. They have. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Like that's all I got to say, man.
Exactly.
I mean,
I had nothing to say,
like I said, after I just remember talking to Emily, that mom with the laser, and she's like, "Well, I don't know if we're really going to have people come back at 5 to like review the machine because we've already told you guys all this stuff."
Yeah.
And so, you were there, and I was there, and we were kind of BSing just with the employees, and they said something, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like. That right there is a game changer. Why didn't you lead with that?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
But it seems like it's always that thing. Like there's a one after another. I was like, this is it's so much stuff.
Yeah, I
if-
by the
if
when they got done, when the VP got done telling us all about that stuff, I had nothing to say.
Yeah, you pretty much have to listen to several of them talk because one might leave.
they're focusing on different things.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
leaves one part out, one leaves another
Yeah.
part out, but you talk to three of them and you get the whole story.
Yeah.
Well, we've got all of
Yeah,
that for
wow.
you guys.
Very nice.
You guys that are interested in, a high-end commercial machine.
Yeah.
That, you have six-figure shops and you need something, this is gonna blow you away.
This will make you a six
Yeah.
figure shop.
Yeah, and you're gonna get to see that tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is gonna be interviewed. Tonight is just BSing.
Right.
Just us guys
Checking it
visiting,
out.
which we're gonna do
Okay.
whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
But tonight is just showing you some of the show, some video we shot at the show, not all of it. And tomorrow is going to be the good stuff. We're going to do the one-on-one interviews, one after the other. We're going to go around and interview all of the laser manufacturers tomorrow, and get their feedback and let them tell you what the new innovations are on their machines. And I can tell you already, I have my favorites. One of them that's been my favorite for a long time is the GCC.
Mhm.
So that's
Right.
that's going to be a good interview.
yeah, that's like top of the line. That's as good as you get when you're talking about having a laser shop. And so is Trotec, and so is Eon. They're all three right up there at the top. Those are like the top three. And AP, I would
Right.
say,
But I feel like I feel like Eon is. They've gone from
well, now they've sort of moved into first place.
yeah. But I feel like they went from kind of that. I don't want to say not commercial, but that the first laser you'd have in your commercial shop.
Like that
To,
mom
like-
with a laser, like Emily's house.
Right, exactly.
To like the
To,
laser you
like-
have.
You want to have this.
Yeah.
This is what you're aspiring to have in your shop.
Yeah, they were all sort of like the Mirror 5,
Right. Yeah.
When they were marketing to Emily. They were marketing to Emily. They were marketing to you and Patrick and me.
Right.
And now they've really stepped it up in the last 2.5 years or so.
Mhm.
And they've gone, full commercial.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of those machines are just gigantic.
Yeah.
Huge. They're just gigantic. And but they still have the Mirror 5. They still have a desktop CO2.
Uh-huh.
So as compared to some of the other companies that don't.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
and they keep upgrading their lower end, smaller
Yes.
models as well. They're getting upgraded.
they've done a bunch of upgrades
Yeah.
to all of their
Oh yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
machines. So we're not talking that if you had, if you were planning on buying a Mirror 5 or a Mirror 7 or something like that, all of the old features. Well, you don't know the new features yet.
Right.
When we tell you what all of those lower end models are going to have same features as the higher end models,
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
going to blow you away for the price
Yeah. They basically upgraded their entire line, and then
in multiple ways.
and then they did the red line as
Yeah,
more of an upgrade, and then what the signature is more of an upgrade.
signature
Yeah.
series. Yeah,
So you can get into a Mira, or I guess a Mira, like an Ion for an Eon. I see.
Eons.
I
Eons and eons
was
and
corrected
eons.
today. For a decent price,
Yeah.
and then you can just quote.
Yeah, you can still get a hobby laser.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can still get a
100%.
hobby laser at a decent price. But if this show is focusing on commercial, so these are all of the top end commercial dealers. And I found out something today too. GCC has always been number one in the past, but I didn't know they are the oldest laser manufacturer in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
So I thought it was GWE.
Yeah.
Because 17 years in the business. I mean, forget about the cloud and the Polar,
Yeah.
Tech Polar. That's their biggest mistake. But GWE was, they're all industrial machines. Some of them are 20 by 40 feet.
Right.
They're big lasers. They're commercial, big, huge commercial lasers. They made a big mistake getting into the desktop market without actually putting out a product for a few years first, or at least a year with people like us,
Right.
so that they could find all the problems. Even though they've upgraded, the cloud desktop laser several times, and now they've got a pretty decent product. And then, of course, Home Tech signed the deal with them for the Polar, which is the Wiki Cloud, the G
Right.
Cloud. I keep saying Wiki. Everybody says Wiki, but
Man.
I was corrected by a tech.
Really?
It's GWI.
Okay, because
Yeah.
the thing is, what cracks me up is like anytime I watch any video,
Everybody says it different.
they all say it different, and you know what they all lead it with? I don't know how to say
I don't
this,
know how
but
to say this. Yeah.
so
Well,
it's GWIC.
it's GWI.
GWI.
Yeah.
I don't even
GWI.
want to say the name.
See, that's you know what? That's a marketing problem.
Yeah. So I had a WhatsApp conversation with an actual technician,
Mm.
and in text. We went back and forth. I guess it was about 2 months ago when I said I figured out how the name is said.
Yep.
It was about 2 months ago,
Mm.
and I just had a question because I wanted to change some of the machine settings. So I had a question for a tech,
Right.
and this was at 2:00 in the morning. So I hit the contact us. Boom, less than 30 seconds later, I get a reply. The girl asked me what I wanted to do. She said, I'll get a tech for you. And 2 or 3 minutes later, I'm chatting with the tech.
2 or 3 minutes later, they woke somebody up.
I'm chatting with the tech,
Right.
and then he says, "Can I call you?" So I called him, and so now I'm talking to him, and I said, I was going to tell him that GWIC should have done something different. And I said GWIC, and he said, no, GWIC.
I would have out of
I
all
would
the
have never
ways,
guessed that.
all the ways it's been pronounced, I
Yeah.
would never have guessed that.
Yeah. So now we know how to pronounce it. But they, like I said, they should have never gotten into the desktop laser unless they were going to
Right.
get in hot and heavy, make a product better than everybody else's.
Right, and they didn't.
And they didn't. Now it's sort of on the fringe. So it's
But
getting
see-
close to being one of the best on the market.
But the problem is when you go that route, when you're it's not great and then it gets better, it's harder to convert people, right? Like
Yeah.
you want to come out like gangbusters. You want to come on the scene. Like X-Tool did one thing right. They came out with a pretty machine.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah.
It was not that was before they started doing everything else. But you
Well,
know what?
do know that was their first machine that they launched, right?
Which one?
The CO2.
What?
The CO2 was before the D1.
Oh, are you talking about the M1 or the?
No, their very first machine, X-Tool's very first machine was a CO2. They were trying to imitate Glowforge, and they failed. And they already had a bunch of money invested. They came from Make Block. So Jason and Mia they went away from Make Block, started X-Tool with the idea of making a Glowforge, and they failed. So their very first machine was that new CO2 that they launched is their very first machine.
Well, so let's
reskin.
I guess when the X-Tool D1 came out, it was pretty.
That's what made it sell.
Exactly.
Beautiful blue C channel instead of extrusion.
It didn't look like everybody else's laser.
Right, exactly.
You always say that it's like a marketing company that makes lasers.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Marketing first.
And
That's
they
exactly what it is.
man, I really wish they'd go back and fix some of the stuff before they make new stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that, not to get back on Rolly Automation, but that's one thing about Rolly Automation that makes them stand out, that makes them heads and shoulders over any other diode laser company, is the fact that you go in their Facebook group and you say, I can't back this machine up to my wall because the exhaust is coming out the back. And 2 days later,
They're like, we have a mod.
he designs it and publishes it to the website, a side exhaust, for whatever it was, $20.
Yeah, it wasn't very much.
$19. It's there. It's on the website.
Yep.
People have a problem, and the part's out the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do
and
it.
there's a technician Dimitri that works for Rolly Automation on duty every single day in the Facebook group.
Right.
So there's never a single problem that goes unresolved.
Nice.
You can't say that about any other product. X-Tool, what got them on my S list, X-Tool, I used to have a website that was for remote help.
Mm.
And if you paid $75,
Right.
you could book an hour session.
You don't do that anymore?
No, I had to shut it down because of X-Tool.
Shit, I still recommend people that.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. But
Anybody who comes to me with some problem that I don't want to like troubleshoot on my own, I'm like, go to Reg.
well, this website was designed to help people with light burn.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they came out with the D1 Pro, which, if you got one of the original batch, you were okay. So you did. You got one prior to the production model. But when the production model came out, there were several little problems with the firmware.
Right.
And they changed the firmware up from the one that you got. And there was just this big batch of them that went out, and people were booking those sessions, and I didn't want to do, because they couldn't get support from X-Tool.
That's why I was sending them to you. I didn't want to do it.
My calendar was completely full,
Wow.
and I wasn't having anybody that had a light burn issue. So I turned it off. I turned it off.
Good to know.
That's what originally got me on put them on my S list. Was the fact that they took away a good revenue stream from me.
When I heard this story, I made sure I put on my appointment bookings that you must have a light burn compatible machine. Just to weed out that issue.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna use that real quick.
Yeah. So so we're just, let's see, where are we here? We're at 1 hour, and that's what we had planned for tonight. We're at 57 minutes. We're gonna wait for Nick to come back and say our goodbyes. We still have about 90 people watching, so thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's show on the preview of what we're going to have for tomorrow. And again, tomorrow, in case you're just joining us, we're going to be actually interviewing about a dozen or more of these laser companies with actual interviews. So you're going to get to hear from the companies themselves about the products that they've got, what the new innovations are for 2024. And it seems like every manufacturer has got new innovations for 2024.
Everyone has something new to offer. In some way, they've upgraded their machines and made them better. So it should be fun to hear them tell you why you should buy their machine.
Yeah, and there will be a few of them that you've never heard of before, but have been out there in the market for a long time. So all of these companies that we're going to be interviewing tomorrow are going to be commercial machines. I mean, except for one that does have a diode. There's only one that has a diode laser.
Yeah.
Which company was that again?
Blue Times.
Blue Times.
Blue Times.
Yeah, and you know what? I have heard of them before, but never on the diode side. And it was an XY extrusion.
Yeah, and we might
Looked like a 10 watt.
We might be able to stop by the Yongli booth, and they had a RFCO2 source on display and some glass tubes, but they also had diode modules.
Oh, did they?
5, 10, 20, and 40 watt diode
Wow.
modules. So hopefully we can stop by and take a look at
For-
those again tomorrow.
For those of you that don't know, Youngli is at one time about 5 or 6 years ago, they had a really bad reputation on their CO2 tubes, but they stepped up their game and they redesigned it, and they're a manufacturer of laser sources. So CO2 tubes being
Young Lee?
Youngli.
Oh yeah.
And now they're only second to Recce. So Recce is the best in the business, and Youngli is only second to them, but their price is much less. They deliver a really good product for a lot less money. So now, according to Patrick, I didn't actually stop by the Youngli booth, but now they're offering all types of laser sources. So that'll be interesting to see what those diode modules. He was just saying they have now 5, 10, 20, 40 diode modules.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
Okay,
and RF module.
I 100% walked by their booth. I looked at their CO2 tubes.
Mhm.
I did not see that.
Yep.
So
They were sitting there on the table as well, and I think they said they're made by their subsidiary, which is Sunrise Laser, if I remember correctly. So I think that their Sunrise Laser makes them, but they are they're a Yongli owned company.
Right.
So
all right.
I'm still trying to chase this down, but talking to somebody today, I do not have sources for this. Well, like, don't quote me on this, but I'm because I don't know the science well enough to be like, I think it's a thing, but supposedly somebody has like developed a lens for a diode laser that will increase the, let's see,
The amplifier lens.
is that what it is? Yeah. So it's supposed to like have the time or something weird like that.
It has a prism. It's a prism lens that attaches to you. You take your lens cover off and screw this one on, and
Right.
it's a prism.
Is it a prism?
It's a prism inside inside of it. It's like a
Prism.
a quarter of an inch thick. It's not like just the tiny little lens cover.
Okay.
of a lens. It's like a quarter of an inch thick.
Okay.
And it's an actual prism. But I've heard of this, but I don't know where the story came from. Somebody posted it on my forum.
No, somebody told me about it today, and they're like, "Well, basically, what I've done with like power amplification, I've done with the optics."
Right. Exactly.
Was the idea?
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is like that's kind of game changing if you think about it." So if that actually exists, that means you could take your 5-watt diode and like
it's a 10-watt.
Right.
Over an 8. Just by changing the lens cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
or better yet, your 70-watt and making it 140.
Right. But
So
you know
is
what?
it-
Like
Did they say that it doubled it?
That from what
the factor
okay,
was?
so like Nick's disclaimer,
yes.
this is something that I read too.
It's
that
kind of
someone
like
else posted.
speculation.
Yeah.
I don't want to like announce this because I don't know. I like somebody
Yeah, it's
talking
not
to
a
me
thing.
today
It's not
said
a thing yet,
right.
but supposedly some company is making this new lens cover, this new lens, and it's supposed to amplify by 112% or something like
Right.
that.
It's crazy.
The
So
power.
it basically you
By
would,
reflecting it in a certain pattern.
you would take a 5-watt, turn it into a 10-watt.
Right.
Like, basically.
10 or
Like,
12.
Is
yeah,
it shrinking the dot size? Like
No, it's
concentrating
reflecting
more?
it in different directions.
Yeah.
And
So
supposedly that amplifies the actual output of
Okay.
the beam. I don't know how it works.
I don't know
but
either. I like that's the thing.
It's not a thing.
Well, it's not a thing. It's absolutely not a thing. But no, the person that was describing it to me, it was not the person that's making it.
Right.
So
And for me, I was
Grain of
reading a
salt.
post on the forum.
right.
So
But
I don't actually see in my mind how that could work. But
I don't. Honestly, like when it comes to optics, I don't understand science.
or
Like
science.
when it
comes
mean,
to science, we're not engineers.
I mean, I wonder if it's messing with the Gaussian beam pattern. Could somehow
what if it's messing with
concentrate
the
more and
space-time
something.
continuum?
It could be. You could-
Well, from what I
you
understand,
could fire your laser.
It goes the exact
The-
same amount of time, but it sends you back in time half of
the
that.
general idea is that it's a beam splitter
I can do it.
that sends it through a prism.
Right.
So it splits the beam, sends it through a prism, and then combines it at the bottom, and it's more than twice the output.
So it's basically like when you have a 10-watt diode, you've got two 5-watt diodes. So you got two 5-watt diodes going in, it bounces it around, and now you have 4 beams going down, right?
Yeah, that are combined. Yeah. Well, and this thing splits those beams into a prism
Right.
in both directions, and then comes back to get which amplifies it, and
So
somehow the prisms amplify it. When it's recombined at the bottom, where it comes out,
Do you have 8 beams?
no, you have one beam. That
You got
comes
one
out.
beam.
You don't have 8 beams?
Bro,
Well,
how many beams do you need?
I don't know.
Yeah, I actually I heard about that. I guess that post was about 5 or 6 months ago, and I've never heard anything since.
The more beans, the merrier.
I just somebody brought it up to me today, and I was like, I've never heard of this. Like new information, and again, a game of telephone. So
Yeah,
it was not the person that's developed this coming up to me and telling me about it. It was like, hey, so and so did this. So it could be bullshit.
yeah.
You know,
We're going to take your beans, we're going to cut them in two, and then what we're going to do is put them back
Reflect them
together,
all over the
and they're
place.
going to be twice as
Or
good as they were
refract them all
before.
over the place. Let's put
That's
them all
it.
back
we're
together.
going to take a beam. We're going to make it two beams. It's going to be the same power in back end. I don't know.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to continue our conversation, but
Oh,
we're going to
absolutely.
let you guys go.
We'll try to
So-
solve the beam theory before we come back tomorrow.
No, we won't.
The beam theory. Next, tomorrow night's live stream is the beam theory.
Up there.
Oh, I'm sorry, the beam theory.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Nick, for coming on with us.
Absolutely, anytime.
And look forward to tomorrow, 8:00 p.m. Tomorrow's live stream. We will be with all of the manufacturers live right here so that you can see the interviews that we do. And we'll have a video or two next week. And so will Nick. on his
Yeah,
channel.
absolutely.
And don't forget, down at the bottom of the screen, if you don't know the channel Build Dad Build, it is one of my favorites. Nick knows that. I'm a patron over there. And I've been for a long time. And actually, I've been since I started this before I was even popular on YouTube. I was always watching Nick's videos. He's funny, and he does stuff that nobody else does, and it's kind of enjoyable to watch.
It's the reason that I'm like nobody wants to sponsor me.
So go so go over there and sign up for
Not
his channel.
necessarily a bad thing.
And,
Be original.
We're gonna continue on our little chat here privately, and I want to thank you all for joining us right now.